हेलो दोस्तों, दिस इज भारत कुमार एंड यू आर वाचिंग माय चैनल निर्मल इन्फो अपडेट्स।
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Retirement age of troops in Army, Air Force and Navy set to increase, says CD's General Rawat when asked about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. General Rawat opined that the transformation and restructuring is required in the armed forces. Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat retirement age of troops in Army, Air Force and Navy set to increase, says CD's General Rawat. Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat has said that the retirement age of jawans in the Army, airmen in the Indian Air Force, IAF, and SEAL in the Navy will be extended as it could benefit nearly 15 lakh men of all three armed forces. We are soon bringing a policy to extend the service profile of the men, forces nomenclature for troops, and have an increased minimum retirement age, said General Rawat in an exclusive interaction with the Tribune yesterday. On being asked if he was looking to cut down the manpower costs as rising salaries and pensions were taking away a large portion of the budget, General Rawat said, "I am looking at manpower costs. Why should a jawan serve for just 15 or 17 years? Why cannot he serve for 30 years? We are losing trained manpower." Easing fears that this policy would change the age profile of the fighting force, he said that the frontline combatant could be young. "We have an Army Medical Corps. Why can't the nursing assistant serve till 50 years of age?" When asked about the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, General Rawat opined that the transformation and restructuring is required in the armed forces. "There is transformation required in the armed forces and COVID means it will be done now," he said. Responding on another question asked by the Tribune if the target for having joint commands within 3 years would be achieved by them, he said, "I don't visualize this going beyond 3 years. We will have a structure and implementation will start in 3 years." He further explained that at present IAF Chief Air Chief Marshal RKSBHADAURIA has submitted a presentation on Joint Air Defense Command and things will likely be in place in 6 months. "For now, we are moving ahead with Joint Air Defense Command. The IAF Chief has given a presentation on the matter and in 6 months we expect to have things in place. This command will have its own doctrine and amalgamate all training and logistic support," General Rawat said. He continued to explain that next step would be the Maritime Command, followed by the Joint Commands. He also informed that the Army is doing a study on Joint Commands while the Navy on Maritime Commands. The Office of the CDs has given guidelines and studies will be completed by the year end, he said. A flurry of activities by Chinese and Pakistani ships and submarines in the Indian Ocean regions have been picked up by the Indian Navy, which has been focused on covert operations in Malacca Straits, the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea. During these missions, P-8 anti-submarine multi-mission maritime patrol aircrafts also participated for ISR, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. The submarines were both conventional and nuclear types. A submarine's air-independent propulsion (AIP) system ensures operations of the conventionally powered submarine to operate without the need for outside air. A Kalvari-class submarine, when fitted with an AIP system on board, shall be able to run its electric propulsion motor in the electrical network with the conventional batteries bypassed. This benefit reduces the need for the submarine to surface often to take in the air for running diesel engines for battery charging. As has been reported by Financial Express Online earlier, the Kalvari-class submarines are powered by conventional diesel electric propulsion systems, and as per the original plans, the last 2 submarines were to be equipped with an indigenously developed AIP technology. This state-of-the-art fuel cell-based AIP is to be indigenously designed by DRDO since such technology from abroad is expensive. Despite the commissioning of the first 2 submarines, DRDO has been unable to meet the timelines of the AIP development, which is still in a land-based laboratory. The rest of the 4 P-75 submarines are scheduled for commissioning by 2022. Presently, the indigenous AIP system is planned to be a retrofit on board's first submarine, as and when it enters a major refit. Doubts are being raised by technology experts regarding the availability of a fully proven and a productionized defense quality assurance (QA) cleared version of AIP for fitment on board in the near future. Under the P-75 project, 6 Cavalry-class Squadron diesel-electric attack submarines (SSKS) construction is in progress at Michigan Dock Limited (MDL), with technical support in terms of technology transfer contracted with French Naval Group, former DCNS. Cavalry-class or advanced conventional propulsion stealth attack submarines designed for longer ranges while being submerged and have advanced design features like very low acoustic, electromagnetic and infrared (IR) signatures. 2 of these submarines have since been commissioned by Indian Navy. As per the OEM, Naval Group, there are 2 variants of Squadron, the conventional propulsion system and another one equipped with AIP. The AIP-enabled submarine has a distinctive advantage over conventional propulsion, with these capable of remaining submerged on underwater patrol for 3 times longer. This is a huge difference when it comes to any underwater sea battle and is a game-changer. The very detection of a submarine which needs to surface even up to snorkeling depth with today's advanced aerial technology on board maritime patrol aircraft can be sure given away. Further, the stealth is the primary weapon of any submarine on surveillance or an attack mission. According to a senior officer who wished to remain anonymous, an Indian submarine lacking AIP capability is likely to be at a huge disadvantage over an AIP-fitted Chinese or Pakistani submarine. AIP-enabled submarines lurking underwater can make a silent and undetected approach close to a warship or submarine, and launch a torpedo attack with a better probability of kill. This makes protection of capital ships within a fleet task force highly vulnerable simply because of the hostile submarine is already elusive and can approach its torpedo firing range before being detected or engaged by even by the latest P-8I multi-maritime patrol aircraft world over. Tracking of ships and submarines of non-friendly nations in international waters is a vigorously exercised option for various reasons. Such activities had reached a heightened level during the Cold War era. U.S. maritime patrol warships and aircrafts regularly dropped sonar buoys to track Soviet submarine. The aim of such maneuvers usually involves the collection of unique electromagnetic, EM, and acoustic signatures of the ships and submarines so as to update or pen the electronic warfare (EW) library. And this helps in easy identification of the target and future. Indian Navy needs the much-desired stealth of AIP soon as it is a design capability of the Cavalry-class submarine. A technology transfer of AIP system to a suitably capable local industry once DRDO's lab version is established, shall boost the private industry under the Make in India initiative. To push the Make in India initiative in the defense sector and lend a helping hand to the private sector and MSMEs, the Ministry of Defense has started identifying projects that can be handed over to them. Sources have confirmed to Financial Express Online that the MOD has started the process of identifying projects which can be fast-tracked and produced locally in India. This will not only help save the funds but will also help our MSMEs in the private sector. Some projects including guns for the Indian Army, 83 light combat aircraft for the Indian Air Force, small and big boats for the Indian Navy are being produced here in India. However, critical technologies which have been designed and developed by the Ordnance Factory Board and the Defense Research and Development Organization can gradually be shared with the private sector and MSMEs. A senior officer of Society of Indian Defense Manufacturers told Financial Express Online that majority of MSMEs can take up build-to-print kind of manufacturing projects at part, component, subsystem level. This is true for all disciplines: mechanical, electrical, electromechanical, hydraulics, electro-hydraulics, optics and electronics, etc. Some of them can do a complete system too. In technology space, many professionals have created entities with niche expertise in electronics, communication, software, embedded software, etc. The officer, who wished to remain anonymous, says these MSMEs take up build-to-specs projects at various levels: subsystem, subassembly, LRUS in aviation, and small systems. They can design basis specifications or even requirements, test, validate performance, integrate, etc. Such MSMEs also tap existing ecosystem of manufacturing industries, metal forming, machining, precision machining, special processes including coatings, PCB manufacturing, etc. OFB involves MSMEs only for the manufacturing of part subassembly on the build-to-print basis. OFS themselves are doing manufacturing under license from FENS. They only have drawings. With Make the Second projects, they will start giving projects on the build-to-spec basis. One has to wait and see. But they have put up a lot of such requirements under Make the Second and import substitution, he said. No, there is no lack of clarity as far as the project's Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, is concerned. The DRDO is already associating with MSMES for developmental projects. And many SMEs are associated with DRDO. With provisions like Make the Second and Technology Development Fund, they can do much more now on plans of the government to push for indigenization of the defense projects. Praneet Kaur, Managing Director and CEO at Sample Avionics Limited, says the Indian defense industry, especially the indigenous and MSME players, had already been under severe resource crunch in the recent past. The COVID-19 pandemic lockdown has put further stress on these companies, and we have collectively been looking for some subs or support from the government. With the government making some plans to push indigenous projects through Make in India, the Indian defense manufacturing industry will receive the much-needed support to help it survive. The indigenous manufacturing companies and MSMEs not only form the backbone of the Indian defense industry, but also provide employment to the talented resource pool which passes out of government-sponsored as well as private institutions every year. Any step by the government to support the MSMEs will generate further employment opportunities for this critical segment of our value chain, Kaur says. Talking about his company Samtal's joint venture with the state-owned Hindustan Aeronautics Ltd, Kaur says, this JV has been a part of HAL's journey towards indigenization for many years now, and is a key supply chain partner of HAL in multiple indigenous programs, including LCA. And, if the order for 83 light combat aircraft, LCA, that is currently awaiting an audit from the Cabinet Committee on Security, CCS, gets approval, then not only will HAL get a boost, but being a part of the supply chain, Sample HAL JV will also gain from it. If the government does go through with this plan as it appears, Sample would certainly welcome it, he concludes.
Yeah.